Skateboarding was a huge thing in the 90s. It was the cool thing to do. You want to be hip? The kids were skateboarding. That is, if you could actually skate. We had skateboarding games like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. We had snowboarding games like Cool Boarders. Sonic was no exception and even had snowboard sections in some of his games. But what's better than all this? Hoverboarding. If it's not the time-traveling DeLorean that people remember in Back to the Future, it's gotta be the hoverboard that Marty McFly rides. A board that floats, requires no wheels or anything. Now that sounds radical. At least, that's what Sega thought. They took the idea and decided to make the Sonic Riders games instead of running like Sonic R or using cars like Sonic Drift. Sonic and friends used hoverboards to race each other, doing various tricks to maintain top speed, a game that was more based on skill as opposed to using items like Mario Kart. The characters get a redesign to make them look hip and cool like the skateboarders. Adding a new set of rivals, give Sonic a reason to show them up, cause, Sonic's kind of a jerk honestly, and there you have it, Sonic Riders. How well does this work though? That's what I'm going to find out. I'm going to be playing the GameCube version of this game, and then the sequel will be on the PlayStation 2. So without further ado, let's get started. The game starts off with an awesome animated cutscene. It's a nice change of pace compared to in-game intros or CGI intros. I'd honestly like it if they did something like this again in the future. Another reason I love Mania. This game does have a story, so let's go over it. Now there are two scenarios here, but they are all connected, so I'll try my best to explain things while including both sides simultaneously. We see Eggman infiltrating an airship which ends up belonging to the new characters introduced in this game, aka Sonic & Co.'s new rivals, the Babylon Rogues. Jet the Hawk, the leader, Wave the Swallow I believe, the tech of the group, Storm the Albatross aka the Big Dumb Brute. They specialize in hoverboards which they all call Extreme Gears. Eggman tells them he knows how to unlock the secrets of the ancient Babylonians by stealing the Chaos Emeralds, as they are the key to unlock the cube that Jet has in his possession. He says to watch out for Sonic, the fastest thing alive. And just like that, they believe him. I mean, you trust this face, right?
Eggman!
Sonic, Tails and Knuckles are also searching for the Chaos Emeralds, cause, I don't know, I suppose it would be better in their hands than Eggman at least. Knuckles, don't you have an emerald to guard or something?
Shut up!
Tails finds the location, but Jet and his crew steals the emeralds and make their escape. Knuckles knocks off Storm and Sonic takes his ball to try and catch up to Jet. He loses and they get away. The next day, Eggman announces the Extreme Gear Grand Prix, 1 emerald per entry cause, totally not shiny at all, and the winner takes it all.
Not just a race, but a special race to see who's the fastest!
As opposed to when you're not? Sonic sees Jet will enter and immediately wants to join, because Sonic has to show up the new rival.
Hey, that's...
We then have a goofy cutscene with Amy being more creepy than usual.
Ugh.
And Tails trying to explain to Knuckles how the hoverboards work. Wave shows up and looks at Tails' board and to call it junk. But what she was actually doing was planting a bomb to use later. We then have another goofy scene with Knuckles and Storm. Okay, I'll be honest here guys, I'm not invested in this game's story or the characters. I don't like the direction or how their personalities are. Very stereotypical. The designs are cool at least, but the story not so much. But regardless, let's power through it the best we can. Storm returns to tell Jet that he had lost to Knuckles, and then he sends her to Eggman's base to find some info. Meanwhile, we get, yes you guessed it, another goofy scene, this time with Jet and Wave. Jet gets bored and notices Sonic practicing, so he goes to antagonize him. My ego is better than yours. No, mine is. Storm returns with some info from Eggman. What they thought was treasure is actually some ancient tech made by the Babylons. Jet enters the final and beats Sonic because of the bomb that was placed on the board. With all the Chaos Emeralds, the cube shoots a laser and brings forth the ancient civilization Babylon Garden. Man, is there anything these Chaos Emeralds can't do? Eggman steals the cube right under Jet's nose and immediately heads to Babylon Garden with everyone else following him. When they catch up to him, Eggman has Amy hostage and Sonic takes him down using the wind of the hoverboard. Jet and the crew then take back the cube and enter the building. Sonic and Co follow them when they hear a strange roar coming from inside. Then they all face a genie? Okay, it's not really hard. Once you catch up to him, you just have to hit him 3 times. After that, they find the treasure and Eggman demands that they give it to him. This is technically the first time Eggman won. Sort of.
Do we ever win? That depends on your definition of win. Beating Sonic. Oh, well then no. That doesn't give me much hope.
Turns out it was actually a magic carpet. I guess I can see it. A futuristic magic carpet is a hoverboard. Though the cool thing I think of this is now that you've unlocked the magic carpet as an extreme gear to use. Jet and the crew leave and search for more treasure, and they vow to return one day. And credits. At the end of the day, do you really play a racing game for the story? Or heck, do you even expect one? It's there, so it's okay, I guess. Now it's time to move on to the meat of things, the gameplay. You always get a running start at the beginning and have to time it right as the timer counts down, otherwise you're getting shocked. The controls are decent. If you need to make a tighter turn, you can drift by holding the shoulder buttons and then go at the right time to give yourself a boost upon release. You can do tricks in the game by holding the jump button at the end of a round. Naturally, if you don't land them, you'll lose all your speed. If you're lagging behind, which in the story mode happened a lot because the AI is kind of good, you can ride the wind that your opponent leaves behind and use it to catch up. It's a cool idea and different, but I feel like I was relying on it most of the time because I couldn't keep a lead thanks to the rubber band AI. Each character has an ability they use to take alternate routes, sometimes shortcuts. Speed characters can grind rails, fight characters can hover through rings, power characters can punch things in their way. You can use the attack button when you're near an opponent, or just use it to give you a boost. Though watch out though, because it consumes your air meter. Wait, what? So you see that meter down there, right? Well, that's your air meter. It slowly depletes over time, and if you run out, your character will have a panic run as you try to find the nearest pit stop. This is why I don't like to use the boost often unless I have plenty of meter, as it does take a good chunk out of it. You can increase the meter by collecting rings or ring boxes, or restore it by landing tricks, picking up air boxes, or doing certain things in the track that restores some of it. First time I played this game, I would admit I didn't know what I was doing and was often running out of air. Nowadays I'm more used to the game, so it rarely happens. But why is there a meter to begin with? If it runs on air, then what's wrong with the air that we breathe? Is it some special air? Is the world too polluted? You know what? It's in the future, so maybe? Regardless, I'm not a fan of this idea, but luckily the sequel, Sonic Riders Zero Gravity, threw that away in favor of something else. So with that said, why don't we move on to Zero Gravity? We have another story, so I will cover it. No animated cutscene though. This time it's strictly a story and no Grand Prix. Sonic and Co are listening to a news about a robot rampage that's happening at a new place called Mediotech. You know, I wonder if Eggman's behind it. Nah. Shooting meteorites were found crash landing into Mediotech and made the robots crazy. Tails found one of them, which immediately drew attention to some of the robots, and they end up chasing them. As they make their escape, they crash, and Sonic goes pumping to his doom. Before he does though, the meteorite starts activating, causing Sonic to temporarily float and stop his fall. I will say one thing though. The first level transitions straight from the cutscene, so Sonic falls to the starting line, slows himself down, and then immediately starts running. It's all automatic, but I did think it was cool. The Babylon Rays have returned to find more about their ancestors. Upon discovering an artifact in Gigan Rocks, they see some shooting stars. The artifact, called Ark of the Cosmos, was actually the shooting stars, and can temporarily manipulate gravity. Wave discovers that they are actually part of an engine unit that powers Babylon Garden, and that they are drawn to one another. They find out on the news that one of the robots stole one of the Arks, so they head to Megalo Station. Jet finds one of them but loses it, and AB, who happens to be nearby, picks it up and finds Sonic. Tails explains that the secret behind all this is Mediotech, and Jet and gang decides to follow. They all meet at Mediotech with them having their reunion. Jet demands that Amy gives him the Ark of the Cosmos, but she doesn't know what that is. Sonic and Co go deeper into the facility to find the cause, while Storm tries to get the Ark from Amy. Once at the end, to their surprise, Eggman is the one who owns the company. No. I honestly thought it was cousin Dr. Sausage Man. Eggman explains that the mother computer's core is the master unit of all the Arks, and is causing the robots to go out of control. Jet thinks he knows what to do when he realizes Amy and Storm are missing. Storm and Amy are getting chased by one of the robots when it malfunctions due to the Ark Storm had, and then he takes the one it had on it. Sonic finally catches up to Amy as she mentions something Storm said. Knuckles tells him he was referring to Gigan Rocks, the place they were at the beginning. I actually like the moment with Knuckles because it shows a bit of character development, telling him that since he's part of a race of treasure hunters, he knows about Gigan Rocks and the location. The group heads off and finds out about the Divine Wings, also known as Babylon Garden. Wave tells Jet about the lightless black that happens if all the arcs are brought to Babylon Garden, and Eggman steals them right under their nose. Great security you got there, Jet. Eggman heads over to the mother computer with everyone else following. Sonic and Co meet Jet as they explain Eggman is at the mother computer called the Crimson Tower, and of course, Eggman is trying to make Eggman Land.
The Eggman Land project again, huh? He never gives up, does he?
The group have one last race and meet Eggman, but before they could take back the arcs, the Master Robot steals them and immediately takes them to Babylon Garden. Tails explains that the lightless black is actually a black hole caused by the arcs. Sonic and Co dive in to face the Master Robot in order to disable the engine in Babylon Garden. Once they entered the black hole, we get a scene with Sonic and Co, Tails trying to explain that the arcs were used to power Babylon Garden, as it was actually a spaceship that the ancient Babylonians used to travel around. Unfortunately, they crash landed on Earth and couldn't get back. So are they aliens or genies? Alien genies. Sonic and Jet race off and then credits. Yeah. So we have more of an actual story here at least, and I want to say it was more interesting this time around, so yeah, it's still just kind of okay, but yeah. Alright, now I can finally talk about this game's controls. So functionally it seems the same as the first game, with changes here and there. The obvious one being the ability to control gravity. Instead of an air meter, we have a meter of gravity. When you try to make a sharp turn, you can press and hold the square button to perform gravity control. You readjust your position and then boost in that direction. The other one being gravity dive. If you've built up your meter, and usually when you're in a straight path, you can press and hold the R1 button to use gravity dive to boost through the air. As long as you have meter, you can keep it going. You can also sometimes pull objects towards you, which you can bounce off of to gain more speed. This is honestly my favourite, and it gives you that sense of speed you'd well expect in a Sonic game. Sadly though, there isn't many good opportunities to get much use, and every level has a specific section where they obviously expect you to use it. I like the idea of manipulating gravity as a game mechanic if done right. It works well here, but I feel like the times used gravity control kinda disrupts the flow of the race. It would have been cool to have more times to use gravity dive, I think. Also, the only way you can make sharp turns is to use gravity control if you have enough meter. There's no drift in this game, and I don't like that. Sometimes you want to make a sharper turn, but not enough to use gravity control, but you can't drift. You replenish your gravity meter by making tricks, or picking up item boxes, or using the character's ability. In this game, you only need to press the jump button at the end of the ramp as opposed to holding it in the first game, which I much prefer. If you want to use abilities this time, however, you have to first upgrade your gear by collecting enough rings. I don't like this. I wish it was just like the first game where you can just use the character's ability off the bat, though I never found myself using them much. You can't attack using the button in this game as well. It seems if you're falling behind, there's a chance you'll get like a boost box that also acts as an attack instead. I never got it though. Despite having the gravity dive though, I do feel like this game feels slower. It's like the characters feel kind of heavy and sluggish. I wanted to record some multiplayer, so I got my mate Jamie to help me out. We tried both, sucked at both, though I have to say, Eggman punching things is oddly satisfying. I didn't know he was as strong as Knuckles. I also sat Jamie down with him to get his opinions on both games since he's never played them. So, alright, so you played the first game.
Yep.
So from your first, because you never played the games before, from your first perspective, how do you think it controls?
To be honest, I think the first one I felt controlled better than the second one. To be honest, yeah, I preferred the controls of the first one than the second one. Even with that air mechanic, like I didn't really need to worry about it too much. So, and I just felt smoother to control and stuff. So yeah.
I enjoy these games, but they are just okay in my opinion. The hoverboard concept is cool, but the gameplay is kinda average. Some good ideas though, but perhaps they needed to be integrated a little bit differently. But if you enjoy them, you can unlock more characters like Shadow, Rouge, and even other Sega related characters via missions. I'm actually going to be live streaming Sonic Riders unlocking everything on my Twitch channel on my other account. That's twitch.tv/GamebustersUK every Friday 8 PM British time, in case anyone is interested. But this is it for the Sonic Riders games. So next time we're going to...
Wait. You forgot one.
Wait, which one?
Sonic Riders for Connect?
There was a Sonic Riders game for the Kinect? Oh no. Well, so I kinda can't do that because I don't have an Xbox 360 or a Kinect. So, Sonic Man?
Do it!
Ah!